Democratic battle in New Hampshire. We're joined now by Democratic strategist Dave Jacobson and Lauren Steiner, lead organizer for the Los Angeles for Bernie Sanders. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Dave, first to you, we're hearing some pretty vicious attacks coming from former President Bill Clinton.
Right.
Clearly this is coordinated. The Clintons don't say anything just off the cuff.
Right.
And this could be read and seems to be just another indication of how worried the Clinton campaign is when it comes to Bernie Sanders and his lead over Hillary Clinton, especially when it comes to women.
Right. Look, I mean, Bill Clinton is, next to Barack Obama, the most popular Democrat in the country. So might as well capitalize on that key endorsement. And clearly, you know, they're tanking a little bit in New Hampshire, so might as well bring out the attack dog and pivot a little bit and start to hold Bernie Sanders accountable for some of the attacks that they're making against Hillary Clinton.
Lauren, I've got to ask you how you feel about the shifting tone in this campaign.
Well, I do think they're getting desperate, and I think they thought that they were going to ease into this, that it was going to be a coronation, and I think they had no idea about Bernie's political revolution. You know, the media wasn't covering him. He got all of 10 minutes on the nightly network news in all of 2015. The DNC restricted the debates to 6, and half of them on Saturdays in the middle of a long weekend opposite football games. They really didn't want him to get any exposure, yet still he was going across the country and getting tens of thousands of people for his rallies. His people are out there, our people are out there doing grassroots events for him, hundreds every day all across the country, and his message just really resonates.
And it's resonating with women. It's resonating with women a great deal. And in light of that, when you look at how he's trouncing Hillary Clinton when it comes to women, especially young women, we've heard from the likes of Gloria Steinem and Madeleine Albright in recent hours, if you will. Madeleine Albright famously, playing on her line about a famous, special place in hell for women who don't help other women. And she used it in relation to women not standing by Hillary. How did you receive those comments?
Oh my God. When I heard the Gloria Steinem comment, first of all, I didn't watch Bill Maher, but I read about it almost instantly after it happened, and I posted it on Facebook on a couple of very large Bernie groups, and you have no idea the kinds of comments that came forth from women from any age, from college age all the way up to senior citizens. Everybody was condemning those remarks. People were calling her irrelevant. People were calling her senile. People were calling her sexist. I don't want to say those things because I read Ms. Magazine through high school. I mean, Gloria Steinem and other second-wave feminists are what made me a feminist for the last 40 years, so I don't want to say anything negative about her, but I do feel that her remarks were very misguided. I mean, very insulting to women, not to mention sexist, by saying that that's the only reason they're voting for Bernie is because that's where the boys are.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Lauren, you mentioned Bernie Sanders and his political revolution. President Clinton had something to say about that on the campaign trail.
When you're making a revolution, you can't be too careful about the facts. You're just for me or against me.
Okay, he went on essentially to make the argument that, if you're not ideologically pure to Bernie Sanders, then essentially you must be on the take. Is this a good argument for Bill Clinton to be making here? Is he the right person to be making this argument?
I think it's a good general election argument for him to be making, right? He's trying to paint Hillary Clinton as the pragmatist, the effective person who can govern the country. That's a great argument in a general election when you're trying to appeal to those moderates, independent voters who ultimately decide who wins a November election. But right now you're trying to sell Hillary Clinton to liberal Democratic voters. You got to sell to their hearts and to their souls. And the problem is, that's not something that's breaking through, right? You got to excite them. You got to energize them. You got to inspire them. You got to talk about the future and optimism. And that is not the message that we're getting from the Clinton campaign right now.
But Lauren, is Bernie Sanders being a bit fast and loose with the truth when he's coming out with some of these statements?
What statements?
Well, when he's talking about his political revolution, when he's also talking about people being on the take, when it's sort of a nudge and a wink about who's taking money from the, the financial regulations and from Wall Street.
The fact of the matter
nudge,
is,
nudge, wink, wink.
She has taken a lot of money, $675,000 from Goldman Sachs for 3 speeches. And when asked, why did she take that money, she said, well, that's what they wanted to pay.
But the implication being that she was bored.
Well, I think you can't go and spend, or make 139 million as the two of them have from every sort of industry and not expect to have some favors.
Well, I think the problem also with this new transcript issue is it's sort of becoming like an IV drip. It keeps dripping, just like the email scandal. If I was advising her campaign, I'd recommend that she just turn it over and pivot away from this issue immediately.
Lauren, final word to you. Your expectations for your candidate out of New Hampshire. What are you expecting in terms of the scale of the win giveaway stands right now in the polls?
Well, let's put it this way. I think his win is going to be huge.
Don't even have to follow up that one.
Okay. We shall see in just a few hours from now. Okay, well, thank you both for coming in.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
And we will take a short break here. When we come back on CNN Newsroom,